As an avid and well-trained anime watcher, I shouldn't have to tell you what's good and what's not. But as we all may know, the community has different taste. Maybe you pick the show that they can throw around fire and electricity through their hand signs. Or maybe you like the one with the protagonist that can tell his dad before he's born to give birth to him. What? But this video is to enlighten you about a show that you probably haven't seen before. A show that makes it so bluntly obvious that I do like you, but I will never say that I like you. Matter of fact, I will use every trick in the book to make you confess that you like me. So, as you're probably thinking, yes, it's a romance comedy, but it's the best romance comedy. For those of you who have not seen Kaguya Sama or Love is War, how I will address it, because I refuse to embarrass myself any further, Love is War is a trickster show, specifically about two high school students that absolutely adore one another. But if I told the other person that I do, then I lose. Because while love is a good aspect, I can't tell them that I love them first. Being honest about my feelings is embarrassing. Therefore, I will do my best to make you show me that you like. So if this topic has interested you, then let me do a deep dive into the show. An early warning right now, there will be spoilers in this video. So if you want to see it, fresh eyes, go do that. But for everyone still sticking around, let's go ahead and get started. Why should you watch Love is War? The story. As mentioned before, the plot is pretty simple. Love is love, however, love is war if you're too embarrassed to say that you love. And that saying is exactly what the two lead protagonists stand by. Both Kaguya and Mayuki adore each other beyond belief. These two characters can be seen as opposites, however, of course, opposites attract. And thanks to the I will never be seen as lesser nor weak mentality, both characters are willing to go out of their way to make the other confess. And when I say out of their way, I mean they go out of their way. However, that is the point of the show. If I make you confess, therefore I won the game. Now, besides the win love through war plot, all the other characters don't have that going on. There are some characters such as Hayasaka that know about the tug of war between the main two protagonists, but doesn't mean that they really fall suit in the plot. The most these side characters will do is mainly help the plot, or majority of the time, Chika, I'm talking about you, hinder the plot. But luckily, all characters in this show have their own goals and motives. Matter of fact, both Mayuki and Kaguya's main goal is to finish high school. The whole Love is War plot is really just a side story, but as viewers, we see it as the main story. But there are other characters such as Ishigami that have nothing to do with that plot. You see, Ishigami's main goal is to just exist. For majority of the show, he doesn't really care about doing anything spectacular. He doesn't have a lot of good grades, nothing like that. And when it comes to life, you can basically see him as a failure, or more of he sees himself as a failure. But throughout the season, he gets out of his hermit shell and decides, I'm going to explore life. Therefore, his new goal is to find what happiness is to him. And he even finds a love interest later on. Another good example is Miko. Miko has always put high expectations on herself and others. And because of this, she's kind of been seen as a stickler. But overall, her main goal is to be accepted, but not to throw away her own beliefs. Now, unfortunately, she's a little bit too naive to know what she's doing, but luckily she has a good friend that can see what she's doing and help her. So as you can see, every character does have their own story besides the main rom-com. But of course, it wouldn't be doable if it wasn't for these characters. As I have kind of already touched on, these characters are something different. Each one of them has a vibrant personality that can either clash or complement another. Kaguya, shown to the current viewer, is not the same Kaguya that we see in previous iterations. When she first entered high school, she was considered the Ice Queen. Due to her strong and wealthy family, she believed that she would not be blessed if she did not have success. And this model caused her to be very cold to others. She used to only care about grades, did not have any friends whatsoever, and that's who she was. But suddenly a little palm to the cheek calmed her down. But as I digress, each character does go through some kind of change to better their lives. All the characters I have already mentioned, such as Ishigami, Miko, and even Hayasaka, do have this backstory. However, there is one character that is a special case. Chika Fujiwara does not follow by any of the rules I've just said. She does not have a goal nor ambition as she has blatantly told us, nor does she really have sympathy and care for others. You see, Chika actually only exists for the thrill. Throughout the show, you will see Chika multiple times try to get the cast to do different games for just the heck of it. But it's not because Chika wants to push along the love plot. Matter of fact, majority of these games she doesn't enjoy. But that's because Chika is a cheater. Throughout nearly every single game game that they play, Chika is shown or caught cheating. And if Chika loses because of this, she is not in a good state. So you may be wondering as a character, what is the purpose of Chika? Because to be completely honest, every single one of these characters is a gag character. And if each one of these characters has their own goals and ambitions for the near future, then why is Chika here? So unfortunately, I just have to tell you the truth. Chika's only purpose in the whole series is to show a power complex. It's not like she's doing it on purpose, but winning or being right is what makes her enjoy life. Now, I could do a whole video in itself to talk about who Chika is and what gets her to tick. But let me at least say this, Chika is no bum. We're talking about a nomination for the best girl of the year right here. Unfortunately, some unknown reptilian took her crown. But just because she didn't get this award, don't let that fool you. Chika still decided to dance in one ending for one episode and still got the best ending of the year. So if she can do that for less than a minute and get an award, like I said, she deserves a bigger episode. So now I've probably talked about the biggest things that would make you pick an anime. A captivating story that keeps you intrigued, and then characters that can show either like or dislike but makes you want to watch more. But the new question becomes, is that actually enough? I will tell you right now that this series has been doing very good for itself. Currently there are 3 seasons of the show and also is getting a movie in theaters. Now some other shows you probably could have watched that are pretty similar to this show are My Dress Up Darling, Horimiya, and even Fruits Basket. But even though these 3 are the most similar to the show, there's nothing like Love is War. You can even point out the cat and mouse game inside the show is kind of similar to Death Note. It's just that nobody's taking out a notebook and killing people with their name. Regardless, there is change in this show and consistency as well. With having 3 seasons of back and forth and then ending up with a change in the story, Love is War is on its tail end. So if you haven't jumped into it, it's probably better to do it sooner than later. And besides, this show is very realistic. If you think about it, these are just high school kids. They go to school, take tests, do extracurricular activities, and there are even people in this show that have a normal relationship. And just like normal people, if the relationship gets sour, you go and get advice. So if you are looking for something realistic, that's still here. And even if you don't want to see high schoolers do it, don't forget there's other characters in the show. I failed to mention it before, but Miyuki's family is not the most financially stable. While he is the school president and has the best grades around, his family still struggles day by day. Matter of fact, he was willing to sacrifice his own money just so his sister can have more in her life. This of course caused him to lose sight of what's really trendy when your school wears uniforms. Now I don't want to spoil all the little nooks and crannies, but this is a good reason why you like this story and the character. And I'd really be amazed if you cannot find a character that you can somehow relate to. Now we won't rate how good Love is War actually is, but I will say this is a guaranteed recommend and worth your time. It is true you won't see a bloodbath of guts and gore, but do you honestly need that in every single show you watch? But if you are a fan of the rom-com, I don't see a show doing it better than this. So tell me what you think about Love is War if you've seen it. If not, go check it out and then come tell me what you think about it. And finally, subscribe to this channel if you want to see more recommendations and anime overviews. I appreciate y'all watching, and go check out one of these videos here. Either you're an anime fan or you're a game fan, so you may like these as well. Y'all have a good one. Take care.